In 2028, multinational conglomerate Omnicorp revolutionizes warfare by introducing robotic peacekeepers capable of maintaining law and order in hotspots such as Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Iran. Led by CEO Raymond Sellers, the company moves to market its technology to domestic law enforcement. However, the passage of the Dreyfus Act, forbidding deployment of militarized drones in the United States, prevents this. Aware that most Americans oppose the use of military systems in their communities, Sellers asks Dr. Dennett Norton and his research team to come up with an alternative. The result is a proposal for a cyborg police officer. However, Norton informs Sellers that only someone stable enough to handle being a cyborg can be turned into one, and some candidates are rejected. A Detroit police detective, Alex Murphy, is chosen after he is critically injured in a car bomb explosion arranged by crime boss Antoine Vallon as revenge for Murphy's investigation into his activities. Norton persuades Murphy's wife, Clara, to sign off on the procedure. Upon waking up and realizing the extent of his transformation, a frustrated Murphy escapes, but Norton shuts him down and brings him back to the lab. As Norton reveals to Murphy that the only remnants of his human body are most of his head, excluding parts of the brain, respiratory organs, heart, and right hand, a disgusted Murphy asks for euthanasia. Norton reminds Murphy about his wife's and son's patience, convincing him to live. During combat training with trainer Rick Maddox, Murphy proves unable to compete with the standard Omnicorp drones efficiently. Norton alters Murphy's programming to make him more efficient by letting drone programming take over his actions, making Murphy think they are his. This reprogramming increases Murphy's efficiency dramatically, but leaves him less empathetic, due to his human nature being bypassed. That night, Murphy goes to his house to meet Clara and his son David to make sure they are okay, comforting David. Shortly before he is publicly unveiled, Murphy has an emotional breakdown, forcing Norton to suppress his emotions. During the ceremony, RoboCop identifies and apprehends a criminal in the crowd. He goes on to reduce crime in Detroit dramatically, simultaneously increasing public support for repealing the Dreyfus Act. Aware that Clara has begun to ask questions, Sellers orders Norton to keep her away from her husband. Clara nevertheless manages to confront RoboCop, telling him of their son David's nightmares. The experience leads Murphy to override his programming and access the previously sealed files on his attempted murder. From them, he learns his son had PTSD after witnessing the explosion. Murphy pursues Vallon's gang to exact revenge. He takes heavy damage from their armor-piercing weapons, but manages to kill Vallon and his men. Murphy returns to the station and joins with his old partner, Jack Lewis. They confront the two corrupt police officers who betrayed him to Vallon, shooting one and tossing the other. Learning that the chief of police was also involved, Murphy moves to arrest her, but is remotely shut down by Maddox. With the help of pro-Omnicorp talk show host Pat Novak, Sellers uses the incident to get the Dreyfus Act repealed. Clara goes to the press and fiercely demands to see her husband. Fearful of being exposed, Sellers orders Maddox to destroy RoboCop while being repaired, and tricks Clara into thinking that Murphy died. Norton reaches him first and reveals the truth. RoboCop narrowly escapes from the building just as it undergoes lockdown. Murphy returns and storms the building, fighting his way through the Ed-209 drone sent to stop him, while Lewis and his fellow police arrive to hold off the rest of Omnicorp's forces. Maddox subdues Murphy, preparing to finish him off, but is killed by Lewis. Murphy then makes his way to the roof where Sellers is waiting for a helicopter with Clara and David as hostages. Murphy's programming initially prevents him from arresting Sellers. However, he overcomes his programming long enough to kill Sellers when Sellers overconfidently taunts him. Omnicorp's parent company, OCP, shuts down the project. The president vetoes the repeal of the Dreyfus Act based on Norton's testimony, much to Novak's anger. Murphy's body is rebuilt in Norton's laboratory, and he waits for Clara and David, who are coming to visit him.